welcome to another edition of Unexplained Cases Medium. You've got Rick Garner, and the one who couldn't even have the show without her, Maryam the Medium.
Hi, everybody.
So,
how's it going?
How's it? Well, that was almost Southern there, basically.
It was.
That was, and a good one, because there can be some bad impersonations, and I really can't stand those, being from the South.
I wasn't even trying to. It just kind of came out weird.
Well, that's actually, for a second there, I thought you needed to have a 10-gallon hat on, basically, like that, because it's more Texan than Southern. So I was just like,
yeah, see, that's what I was going for.
Right? So are you the marshal? Are you the new marshal in town?
I act like I am. I'm not, but I act like it, right?
Yeah. Hey, well, actually, with that background you got going on, you're kind of like a space cowgirl, So that's pretty cool there. So. Mm-hmm.
I'm calling in on my alien peeps today.
Oh, great. I was about to say, that's one of those to where that's either backup or basically you're like, all right, enough with the comparisons. You're going to send them over to rough me up. So, that's okay. That's fine.
Well, do your job.
I know, right? Come on. Get to it, please. Hey, guys. Welcome to a nice Sunday afternoon with, let's see, we've got Kamara. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Lauren,
I'm assuming you did.
Probably. Kathy, Tessa, Elizabeth, Susan. Welcome, guys. Appreciate you. Oh, Tessa, of course. Extra props. We got a little alien emoji there, basically. So.
Oh, cute! I can't see it on my glasses on, but I trust you. I'll look after the show. I'll go into the comments.
Give extra props right there. Hey, also, guys, as usual, want to remind you that, of course, besides our afternoon program, we also have 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. We have Unexplained Cases Live. Let's check in with Mr. Darren Dito to see what we got coming up tonight.
Hey, everybody. Coming up on Unexplained Cases Live on Sunday night. Ooh, we got a great show for you. Maybe the best show ever. I'm serious. We're going to talk with our good friend Emily Menshouse from What the Frick Live. What a great show that is. I tell you what, Emily is one busy investigator, not only hunting ghosts, but she's an entrepreneur from the beautiful bluegrass state of Kentucky. This is pretty cool. She started several paranormal groups across the country. Looking forward to hearing more about that venture. Plus, Maryam is going to help Emily get some answers about one of the most famous unsolved murder cases of all time, the Black Dahlia. Will Maryam's remote viewing finally solve who killed the Hollywood starlet, Elizabeth Short? We could make history cracking the case and bring her murderer to justice. It is must-see TV, my friends. Make sure you tune in to Unexplained Cases Live, 10 p.m. on the East Coast, 7 on the West Coast. We'll see you then.
No pressure. We might make history.
See? Yeah, come on.
Perform, your little monkey, if I don't perform. If I don't beat my little drums correctly, we are not making history, people.
See, just a little pressure there, See.
Gosh.
But infamous case there. Emily chose a rather fascinating house that's just part of that whole story. So she will be a fascinating conversation. We love Emily and being a fan and a friend of ours and also a colleague on Paranormal United Network. But then this whole case too, whatever may happen, tune in tonight. We look forward to having you there for that.
All right. So for those of you guys that have been following my infamous story of falling on my face,
You should have warned me you're going to tell this story.
I'm not telling the story again, but go back into previous shows. It's worth listening to. Purely to get a good laugh. But really, the lessons just keep coming. What I just wanted to share was this. For some of you may not know the story, but here's to sum up. When we consciously don't make changes we know we need to make or are supposed to make, it affects everything in our life, okay? And that was something that I did, which is why I fell on my face. And what was interesting was this morning when I was walking Oliver And I've since the last 2 or 3 weeks since I told you guys the story, I've made the changes I was supposed to make with him. And I know, like I talked about last week, I noticed how, wow, this is a nervous dog. This dog crosses in front of me every 30 seconds. Like, I noticed all these things I was ignoring before because I was ignoring making this change. But more importantly, what I realized today was how when you finally do make that big change that you're scared to make or don't want to make or keep putting off, it affects every single part of your life. It affects everything, you know? And I say that because this one little change I made walking Oliver, it changed everything about our walks. And I've really felt like that was symbolic for life because that's how it is in life. If you don't make changes you know you need to make, it affects every single part of your life. And if you think it doesn't, you're fooling yourself. But when you make that super hard change, whether it's coming out, whether it's switching jobs, whether it's getting that divorce, whatever these changes are that you know you need to make, but you're scared to make, it affects every part of your life. Everything is connected. Go out, quit your jobs, get a divorce, come out, and blame me.
All at the same time.
Dude, God, don't do it all at the same time. My email's going to blow up. You told me to do what? Listen.
Hey, well,
All
actually,
right.
Rick said it, so you can blame me.
Let's do this. Pick a card. Let's take a deep breath for a minute. Close your eyes. Breathe yourself into the space. Whether you're, just long as you're not driving, stop what you're doing and just take a couple deep breaths. Here we go. Really inhale through the nose, but extend that inhale. Lengthening past where you would normally inhale. Same with the exhale, lengthening past where you would normally exhale. Really let that belly move with your breath. Let that belly expand. Let that belly pull in. Again, inhale. Really allowing yourself to be present by simply focusing all your attention on the length of your breath. Be still for a minute, eyes closed. Allow your breath to move at its own pace. Connecting with your higher consciousness to send me the information that you probably already know, just scared to hear for yourself. Happens all the time, right? We can hear it from someone else, but it's scary for us to admit something to ourselves. Couple more breaths here. Just allow the breath to move at its own pace, becoming aware of your space, aware of your body, aware of your higher self. When you're ready, opening your eyes. Let me see what we've got for cards for you guys. I've got, feels like someone is dealing with loss, death. Trying to manage that. You know, maybe don't try to manage it. Just allow that grief, allow that rebirth that you're about to do to come up. Some of you are dealing with really crappy bosses. Time for you to leave. All right, hold on. I just want to see if I need one more. Cutting the cord is a kind of the theme for all of you guys today. Cutting the cord is can mean multiple things. It can mean, for those that are struggling with loss and death, it's letting go. Yeah, letting go is trust. When we let go, we're trusting that there's a higher power that we co-create with. There's a higher power that moves through you, and that everything is as it should be, no matter how painful and confusing it is, right? Card 1, card 2, card 3, card 1, card 2, card 3. Card 1 is letting go, but it's clearing the path. It's letting go of past pain, past beliefs. It's letting go of these same tapes that play in your mind over and over. Aren't you tired of them? It's breaking the mold of your life and just doing something different. And for some of you, you refuse to make these changes and are being made for you, and it's being displayed as chaos. It's being displayed as like almost, I want to say, corruption. Just like you feel like everything's just like every time you turn around, something, there's something else. That's because you're refusing to see and feel your intuitive need for change. And so things are just being slashed around you, forcing you to let go of that past. Now, you have control over your mind. If you're going to keep letting those tapes run, and so be it, but that's only hurting you. It's not hurting anybody else. But this is just slashing away the old. And for some of you that are very conscious of this, they're saying visualize just you like with this machete like the card had, and you're just getting rid of the old habits, thoughts, patterns, relationships. Like you have to let that go. You have to. They just keep saying you have to. And when they say you have to, if you don't, it'll be done for you. And my recommendation is don't F with spirit. If you're being asked to change, change. It's much easier to do it yourself than to be forced into it, than to be pushed into it. Big changes for you guys. Big changes. So these big changes, if they're not, some of you are already happening. Find a way to trust everything being presented is correct, and you have to learn to roll with it. That doesn't mean you don't express emotion. That doesn't mean you don't get angry, sad, feel all those things. It doesn't mean that. When I say roll with it, it doesn't mean that. It means feel, emote, express, moving through it with trust, moving through it with faith. It's painful, but I get it. It sucks, but I get it. And you get that you are co-creator with spirit, and that everything is as it should be because you created it. Whether it was in 20 lifetimes ago or this lifetime, you created it. Take responsibility. Also means we take responsibility for the change. We then take responsibility for the growth, the power that we then come into, the joy that we come into. We take responsibility for that. Big changes for you guys. Card 2. This is heavy sadness, loss. This is the card 2 is just full of emotion, sadness, loss, fear, confusion. I feel like something has happened to you guys, and is kind of, that was shocking. put you in this position of whoa, wait, it's like when a car accident happens and you're like, you need a second to figure out what just happened. The emotion that some of you have been carrying, this jarring experience for some of you may have happened a while ago, years even. Some of you, it may be very recent, but for some of you, it feels like it happened a long time ago, and your heaviness that you're carrying is from that. Sadness that you're carrying is from that, the loss. It's important that you experience the emotional body and you allow it to be. But it's also important that when you find your daily practice, you allow those emotions to move through you and out of you. Not because you're not supposed to feel, not because you're not supposed to have them, but because you are learning to choose how you feel. We don't choose from here. We choose from our gut when we learn how to manage the emotional body. We can then allow ourselves to feel that sadness. And then we can allow that sadness to move out, because in our daily practice, we dig deep and we find that at our base, at our root is joy. We're actually born with joy. And then everything life, right? Being human, past lives, cover that, just stack on top of it. But at our core is joy. And so for those of you that are feeling this heaviness, this lethargic, this sadness, this depression, learning how to control the emotional body doesn't mean we are controlling from here. I'm not going to be sad. Not that. It means in your daily practice, you allow those emotions to run through you and out of you, and till you get to the core, which is balance, joy. Not joy meaning like you're running around happy, but a balanced joy. It's a trust. This isn't something you get overnight. This comes practice, your daily practice. But for some of you in card 2, it's time for you to move yourself out of this darkness. It's time for you to consciously move yourself out of this darkness, out of this sadness through meditation, not through here. You can talk about it, go to therapy, absolutely. You can journal about it, but you can't tell yourself not to experience it. You have to allow the emotional body to make that decision with you. The emotional body will release so you can find peace again, joy again, without guilt. There's no need for you to feel guilty that you're happy. I'm feeling someone in particular really dealing with death. Just go through it. Allow yourself to experience everything as it comes up. And then in your daily practice, find that thing that helps balance the emotional body. How do you know what that thing is? It's because you'll stop, riding this wave, and you'll be okay. Not overly joyous, not overly sad, just okay. Let me move on. I feel like I could sit there for a while. Whoever's in that. Card 2. Card 3. Card 3. No idea what's going on here. That's reassuring, right? Gosh, so much transformation. So much. I mean, I know the planet is there. I get it. I see it. I understand it. But it is fascinating to see it outside too, to see how everyone is just affected by so much change. Card 3 is interesting. Card 3 is trying to control what's going on around you. And I'm feeling you like kind of going in and out of your body because you're not realizing that you can't control what's going on around you. You can control how you react to what's going on around you. But what's happening around you, it's a lot of, I feel like it's work, it's a lot people, it's family. It's like you're feeling like you have to control everything going on. And it's not working. It's like grabbing onto not a water balloon, but like when you grab something and just poofs right out of your hand. You know, you're trying to control something you can't control. You're trying to control something you can't control, and you aren't hearing that. You aren't getting that you can't control what's going on around you. You can't control the immediate situation that's going on around you. And I even feel like some of you are saying, but I have to. No, you can't. You're doing something that is ending up in more chaos. And I know some of you say, well, if I don't control it, nobody will. Okay, you're not God. It's not for you to control everybody around you, and it's not for you to control everything around you. It's when you are busy controlling everything around you, then you don't have to worry about what's actually going on in here. And we do that on purpose. We try to control everything around us. We don't have to deal with what's going on in here. This card is about the chaos around you, the change, the crazy, the people, the frustration, or the aggravation around you isn't for you to control. Let it go. I'm not saying don't feel like you need to talk about it, but it's not for you to engage in, and it's not for you to stop. Let the chaos happen. You have to, because if you don't, you'll stifle it temporarily, and it's going to rear its head again. And you don't want it to happen. You want it to move on. Okay.
All right. Wow. That was a rather intense collection there.
It was. I blame the audience.
See, we love you guys, but it's your fault today. Okay, so
a lot of heaviness. Yeah.
I know, right? Appreciate everybody being here today. We also have someone who is waiting patiently in the green room, as we like to call it. So I had some folks who were also kind of curious. I think they basically were joining and just wondering what we're doing. So just as a quick, I guess, overview plug of the show, we start off with pick a card, which allows you to be able to intuitively choose cards 1, 2, or 3. Whichever
well
one
said.
you're drawn to, and Maryam will unpack that card. Then about where we are right now, we could have a pet case where, since Maryam reads pets, you could have a pet that's in trouble or you have some questions about. So we've got those cases. Or we have a very special case that requires her talents, and that's today. And then after that, as I've been asking folks to drop your questions in the comments, then we'll get to readings. So did I sum that up all well? Did I earn my paycheck?
You did. Yeah, you actually summed it up really well. You're
Awesome.
very good at that.
So that's basically Unexplained Cases in a nutshell. But moving on to our case. So I'm going to bring in Irene. Hey, Irene.
Hi, Irene.
Welcome back. So
I just got out of the shower. So.
Well, I was about to say, so folks need to understand, you're actually in Japan right now, which is 6:54 a.m. on Monday morning, right?
Right.
So
like
extra appreciate you being here because
Thank you.
It's easy for us on the old Eastern time, a little early for you, but this is a chance for us to revisit your case, which if folks want to know kind of part 1, they need to go back and check a previous episode that was called Case of the Evil Houseguest. But now this one is part 2.
Yes.
Unpacking that. So I'm going to step away and let the unpacking begin.
Thank you, Rick.
Hi, Irene. So we want to find out what's going on in our home, okay? And we're going to look at that right now. We've got, in our last episode, there was 2 entities, masculine energies. I feel them still there, still attached, still that are living in that space with you. They are
I've got 2 names. I remember.
okay. Good.
Tadasu Nagao. He died of cancer. Brett Bazant was my BFF. Samuel Best was also my BFF. We have a lot of male friends. Okay.
That's okay. So Samuel and Brett
Yeah, and Tadasu.
Tarasu.
Tadasu. He was my husband's friend. He
Okay.
died of cancer,
Okay.
lung cancer.
Okay. So there's a couple of energies. Let me see if it's them
Okay.
in your space. What you want to be able to do is your two boys actually feel energy around them.
Yep.
I don't know if they are aware, but they can feel the beings
My
and spirits.
eldest especially. He can speak
Yeah.
to spirits. He can talk
Yeah.
to them. He can summon them.
Yeah. Yeah. And so because of that, there's going to be beings that are always drawn to your home and drawn to your location because your son has that capability.
Yeah.
Everybody has some form of
Yep.
capability, super sense. His
Yep.
super sense is this. I'm drawn to the word that you used when you said summons them
Yeah.
because there is this sense of drawing beings in. And your son, when he does that, it affects everybody in the home, but also this is how he's learning about his super sense. It's how he's learning about this capability.
Yeah.
It's very strong, it's very prevalent,
Yep.
but it's attracting a lot of different beings in the home.
Yeah.
Your younger son is able to interact, and he doesn't summons them the way the older son does, but he
Yeah.
interacts with them.
Yeah.
And your daughter tends to stay away. Your daughter tends to acknowledge beings that are more aligned with her energy frequency.
But
And
she
if
can
they
see
don't
them.
align
Yeah.
with her energy frequency, she
Yeah.
doesn't deal with them.
Yeah.
So because of all of this, you have a lot of activity in your home, and that's because this building in particular
Yeah.
seems, for some reason, it draws in these energies and these entities. Some of these spirits died in this building, and then some
Yep.
of them came
They commit
into.
suicide.
Oh, okay. So there's a lot of that. Okay. So that's why I'm feeling so much in this space. Listen, you and your family need to, in order to manage all the beings in your space, you and your
Mhm.
family need to do it together. It can't
Mhm.
be something that one person wants and another doesn't want, because everybody is experiencing all of these beings. The
Yeah.
other issue you have is this building in general will always be filled with a lot of spirits.
Yeah.
These spirits are not passing over, they are stuck in many ways.
Yep.
A lot of them are stuck by choice, they're not wanting to move on.
Mhm.
Really, you would need a brand new building, because this
Yeah.
building, combined with all of the energy that the abilities that you
Yeah.
all are tapped into, it's just
Yeah.
a hotbed of continual activity. There's
Yeah.
one gentleman in particular, it's none of the none of the three names you mentioned. This is a
Uh-huh.
being, a masculine energy that killed himself in the building. He feels like it was around the top floor he lived,
Yeah.
and he actually uh he just like visits and not harasses, but might even harass. It's just goes to everybody's space, and he's in everyone's business. He's in
Yeah.
everybody's unit. Like, this being in particular is really kind of the heavy hitter of who's causing a lot of the problems. Your
Yeah.
sons also kind of
Yeah.
mess with him. And
Yeah.
it's not that they're messing with him in
Yeah.
an abusive way where I would need to step in, but they're just messing with him the way boys kind of do. And
Yeah.
they think it's funny, and this spirit is already a little on the dark side. So the spirit
Yeah.
is kind of pushing back. So you have
Yeah.
like this whole thing going on in your house.
Yeah, it's a
where
whole it's a whole
it's you will have to get with your sons and have a talk and lesson in, listen, if you, mom, don't want them engaging with this gentleman anymore,
Yeah.
you all will have to sit down and agree that this gentleman is no longer in your space. Your oldest son is actually capable of removing him and telling him to leave. If your eldest son does that, he will stop. He won't stop in your unit anymore. He'll move on.
Well, actually, we
mhm.
moved. We moved to a house. No, we don't live there anymore.
Okay, so
Because
this building that you sent me the pictures of, you don't live there anymore.
no, but
You-
I still get sick and I still have problems.
Okay. Okay, you're still getting sick and you're still having I feel like this being that I just described to you is still with you.
Yeah, I know.
You
I
you
feel it.
have to your older son has to be the one to let him go.
Okay.
It's got to
Okay.
come from him, okay? Now,
Okay.
you're being sick, liver,
Nope.
yeah, your liver's
Lung.
weak. Yeah, but your liver's weak.
Yeah. Okay.
Um your liver your liver's weak.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that your lungs aren't, but you should look into that. I don't
Okay.
feel like any of that's coming from this spirit. I
Okay.
don't feel like it's coming from any sense of curse, but you have to be able to set more boundaries around yourself from your children and
Yeah.
from the spirits that you are able to communicate with and
Yeah.
connect with, because
Okay.
you have that same ability as
I know.
your boys. And so if you are not managing it, it's going
Yeah.
to put you in this position where it breaks down the physical body. That's not what's going on. There's I feel like there's something in the liver that's not, it's not deadly by any means, but it's like you got to go visit that. You got to go visit the liver. There's something going on there for you.
Okay.
I'm feeling like there's some past stuff that lives in that physical organ. Anger, frustration, disappointment is all sitting in there. A lot of anger from past is sitting in there. So you've got two things happening. I want to clarify before I let you go. Okay. One is
Okay.
your physical health. The physical health,
Yeah.
like I said, visit the liver and find some herbs and foods to strengthen it. That liver is
Okay.
angry and frustrated. That's coming from your
Okay.
past.
Okay.
And then you have this being that's attached to your oldest son. And I don't mean attached in a way that is, your
No.
son has control over this. Okay. The
Yeah.
being
No.
does not have control over him, but
Mm.
you need to get with your sons, and you need to have your son get rid of him, push
Yeah.
him out, because it's only draining you of your energy, and it's draining the home of the energy. That being, which came from that complex that you sent me the picture of,
Yeah.
he needs to be sent back there, but that's not for me to do because your sons are engaging with them. It's for your sons to do. Okay. So two
Okay.
things for you to work on. Okay, Irene,
Okay.
you got
I'll,
this.
I got it.
You
Thank
got
you.
it.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh
Thank
my
you for
goodness.
getting up so early. I so appreciate it. And if you need anything, you email, but you got this. Okay.
I got it. Thank you.
You're awesome, Irene.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Love you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Love ya.
Bye.
Oh wow. So that's intense.
Happening. Uh-huh.
And well, and someone also had a comment. I didn't want to interrupt the flow, but I think it's often when you hear something like this going on that this becomes a suggestion. So Ryan was suggesting to burn sage or sweet grass. I'm not going to say that I'm familiar enough to know if that's like always a solution or if it's kind of one of those to where it couldn't hurt. But do you have any thoughts on?
Yeah, that's a great suggestion, Ryan, and 100% accurate. I think, though, in this situation, poor Irene has got a house full of children as well as herself that are so open and conscious of their, of their super senses, that it's like that front door's open and everyone's coming in. So all the sage in the world isn't going to clear that. That has to be a conscious effort that Irene and her kids do as a family, since they're all living in the same space. They have to communicate, learn how to, I don't like say protect or barrier themselves, because that's not really anything you want to do or you can do, but you can set boundaries. It's like I always say, if your neighbor is knocking on your door 24/7 saying, I want to come in, I want to come in, are you going to let them in? You're going to be like, dude, I need some time. Like, you can come over tomorrow night at 5, but not now. And it's the same thing with spirits, like you dictate, it's your space. You decide who you want there and who you don't want there. And if you don't decide, it'll be decided for you, right? So that's why being conscious of this is so important. And let me give you a good example of when sage is really effective. Is when, let's say you've had everybody has energy, and it doesn't, like, sometimes people think you use sage just for bad energy. Whenever someone comes into my home, I sage after, or whenever I leave my home and I come back, I sage, not because everyone's bad. It's just not my energy. It's not for me to keep or carry, but yet sage, again, is great for clearing dark energy for sure. So it has so many purposes, but don't be afraid to always clear yourself of energies that are not yours. It's not a judgment.
Right. Well, and you're absolutely right. I think that is what a lot of people associate sage with is it's dark entities, demons, whatever. That's when you break it out. But that's where it's one of those things to where, as you're indicating, it's a nice habit to maintain a space. And speaking of maintaining a space, especially in this case, there's yet again another surprising element of where if you have individuals who are intuitive, but who are also teenagers, and that can have good repercussions if there's a maturity there. It could also have bad repercussions if there is some immaturity or provoking or that type of thing. It's kind of like, basically, if there's somebody outside in physical form and you're taunting and harassing them, well, one day they might come up to you with a big stick. So same thing.
It's true.
The spiritual side.
It's true. What's interesting about her son, though, is that when she used the word summons, I was like, whoa. Like, and I struggle with this because I'm going to speak about her son for a moment, how pretty powerful he is, but it's important that everybody knows they carry some power like that. It's not just him, okay? But right now I'm going to talk about him. But he has this, he remembers and is conscious of his super sense to summons and energies and spirits and pull them in and bring them in. And at a time in his life, he was a shaman, a really powerful shaman that will pull in spirits to heal, to clear. But this lifetime, his consciousness isn't caught up with his super sense. And so he has this like magical talent, for lack of better words, and doesn't know how to manage it. He's learning. That's what he's doing. He's figuring out, this is how we learn, by doing it. But I think that's what's fascinating about him, is he's learning, but it does affect everyone in the house. But he is this really, really strong being that needs to be aware of what he does with his energy, how he uses it, and how it affects others, and how it pulls in others, because he doesn't live by himself. Hopefully Irene will go back and watch this when it's not 6 a.m. on a Monday. So maybe you could shoot her a DM and say, hey, we got, there was more information on your son, and check it out.
I think she's still in the comments.
Oh,
So,
good.
so
Go
yeah,
to work, Irene. Oh.
nice. All right, so you didn't. You said you didn't have any emails to tend
No.
to, right? All right, so this might be a tad on the vague side. So, Lauren, you may need to provide a little more detail.
I do know that. Okay, I was going to try something. Wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
Well, it was get my glasses
You gonna
on.
scratch your nose? I mean, what
I
are
was
you
going to
doing?
get. I meant to bring my computer so I could look, and so I don't have to stick my big old face in the screen here. But I'm gonna have to. I don't have my computer right now. Okay. Oh. Oh, okay. Lauren. She has a pretty little picture. She's interested in the relationship she's been in for 10 years. I'm assuming what you mean is you want to know a little bit about it, or something might be going on. Let's see. Lauren Odell. See, I was going to bring my computer so I could pull up the show and see the comments like that. I mean, Lauren. What? Hang on. I'm really wanting to feel like I'm. Glasses are coming back out. This is when you know it's serious. I just need to see her little face. There's a disconnect. Is it you to him or him to or your partner? I don't want to say he, could be she. Partner. There's a disconnect. Why is there a disconnect? It's a good relationship, but there's recently been a disconnect. Not necessarily bad. This is why sometimes I ask for more info, because it can get like sometimes I need more info to figure out where this disconnect's coming from. But there's a disconnect from one to the other, but it's not because you should be breaking up or it's a bad relationship. It's just a time. It's like a restart button, refresh. That disconnect happened because you two need to separate to come back together. I don't mean separate physically. I just mean, like, I feel like if it hasn't happened already, or if you're in it, that disconnect is there so that you guys can come back together. It's a good relationship. I don't see anything wrong with it, other than the only thing I would say is it's a nice relationship. Are you happy? Like, that's the only thing that comes to me besides this disconnect, and so this disconnect is there. It's like, I'm saying it's a break. I don't mean to break up, but just symbolically it's break. So you guys can either do this again because it's a good relationship to be in, or you guys might go, we've played it out. Either is fine. Like, either is fine. Yeah. Sorry, that was kind of vague even for me too. All right, people. Rick, I need bifocals.
Well, or I could switch to the other style of lower thirds too.
Oh yeah. Don't we usually do? Wait,
Yeah.
do you usually do it like this?
No.
Oh, does the other one might be bigger? Yeah. Ah! You were being nice because I didn't want to cover my Buddha. Sorry, Buddha, I'm blind. Watch now. The one I just read. I'm like, wait a minute. Let me take all that back. I'm just kidding. Lena. Oh, I could see her pretty face. This is like any advice with dealing with my mom? We've been fighting a lot lately. Oh, gosh. Your mom. Just kidding. I mean, I was like, I just felt the frustration when you said that. I'm lucky. I have a perfect mommy.
And
She
she's
also
watching
watches
right
the
now.
show. That's why I said that. I'm just kidding. I do, honestly.
Hey, Mom. Hey, Miriam.
I always tell her she's the perfect and the best, and she's like, "No, I'm not." And I'm like, "Anyway, sorry, this is about Lena." Okay, Lena, whew, your mom, man. Listen, I felt her second I put those glasses on and could see your face. Um, yeah, you need some advice. Hold on, let's get serious for a minute here. Shit's hitting the fan. Lena's mom needs some reining in. Lena, she is obviously she's concerned for you and doesn't really know how to show it. uh, there's this, she doesn't like, she's not liking change. She's not liking that I feel like it's like your viewpoint, where you're coming from, something about you has changed. And that is making her incredibly uncomfortable. Something about you has changed. It may not be a physical thing like a job or a relationship or anything like that, but something in your thinking and your consciousness, you have changed. You have changed this last year. And she's uncomfortable with who you have become, who you are becoming, because it's not the norm. It's different. So it scares her. You are also coming into some really big shift. Like, you came into or coming into like this epiphany about yourself. And it makes your mom uncomfortable because this epiphany about yourself is very honest to who you are. It's very authentic to who you are. It's someone you should have been, not, I don't want to say should have been, but it's like you look back and you're like, why was I not doing this the whole time? Why was I not presenting this the whole time? If that hasn't happened yet, it's just because your higher consciousness is working its way into it. And there's this feeling, everyone kind of feels it happening. You know, it's kind of like when people say, oh, like you could feel it in the air before something happened, you know, like that's what's happening. There's a huge change that hasn't happened already coming for you. It's actually a very positive one for you, and you are shifting and changing to prepare for it. It's just scary for your mom. The only thing that you should be doing right now is seeing your roles reversed. Your mom is the child, you as the adult, and that you wouldn't yell and scream at a 5-year-old for not understanding you. You know, if you guys, let's say they're saying you and you have your 5-year-old, and you've driven the same way to school every single day with her for a year, and those roads are closed. Now you have to take another one, and she keeps asking why. Isn't that the age where all they do is say why? Oh my God, I don't have kids, but that's, you know, like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? You wouldn't yell at her. I mean, the hope is you wouldn't yell at her. You would be like, she's 5 years old. This is why she's asking. I mean, yes, that's what they do. The same thing with your mom. See her as that child who just doesn't understand. And you do. Okay. Hi, Phil. Can you let me know what I can expect in the near future with my love life? Let's see. Partner in February. I always get surprised when I say stuff super accurate, like not accurate, like specific. Partner in February. Your love life's been pretty rough, it seems like. Not great. Disillusionment, disheartenment. I don't know what that word is. That a word? I don't know. Spirit's making up words. My guy's making stuff up. I mean, okay, hold on. Okay. All right. What's going on here with Phil's love life? These cards are not, okay. Phil, we gotta let go. The past, I don't like your past relationships. I feel like some of them may have been masked with, oh no, they were fine, but they weren't fine. Between now and February, this is what's going to happen. You should actually be joining my manifestation on Sundays, and relationship should be in it for you, because there's a lot of growth that you need to experience, overcome. Not growth There's a lot of past and pain you need to overcome. There's a lot of growth for you to have to prepare yourself for this relationship, this partner in February. There is a lot of disillusionment of what you want and a little bit about who you are. I don't think you're super clear and honest yet about who you are. You're not accepting who you are yet. Work on that. Join me on Sundays. It's free because we were just talking about today about not recreating old patterns and how if we don't manifest correctly, all we're doing is recreating our past and all the BS that comes with our past. And that's not of any use to anybody. So you need to release the past. You've had some messed up relationships. You need to move forward, but this person in February is not going to present themselves until you have authentically owned who you are. You're standing in it. You are happy about it, no matter what anyone else thinks. And you see yourself in this new light. Let go of your past, holding you back. Oh, Lena. Hi, Lena. Curious about my new puppy. Can he be a past family member? Oh, man, I have got to see a picture of that puppy. I really need to see a picture of that puppy, not for my own personal desires, but I should see a picture of that puppy. Lena, send me a picture of the puppy with all your family, even though I see your family right there. And let's get into that because it seems like you're feeling something that might be there, okay? Maybe we even have you on a pet segment next week. Oh, Ryan, sorry. I'm like, that's a loaded question, although I was very specific with Phil. Let's see. Ryan, you let your partners take advantage of you, for starters. You need to be more, what's the word? Not choosy is like, I can't think of not discriminate. Like, don't just take, like, you're connecting, hooking up with people that aren't good for you. Like, wait for them to show you behavior that is kind to you, that is generous to you, that's thoughtful, that listens to you, that asks you, how are you? I feel like you give, and you're not getting anything back. And giving is important, but you aren't feeling worthy of getting anything back. And so you aren't coming across a soulmate, but you also need to loosen the reins. There's a little bit of control you bring to the relationship, which kind of smother and can cause people to pull back. So let go of the control. That control is coming from the fact that you give so much and you refuse to allow others to give to you. You are responsible for that. You have to watch and see when someone is giving to you. Okay. If they're not giving to you in their beginning, even simple things like, tell me about your day. How are you? That's a red flag. We don't just block out people that don't give to us. We have to teach them how we want to be treated. And some of them don't want to be taught, so you move on. And those that will be taught, they will then learn how to treat you, how you're to be treated. Soulmate, that person's there for you. Not till next year. You got to do that work. Come with Phil on Sundays so you got to let go of some of that past, man, because you keep recreating these patterns. But you don't worry, that person's there. Don't worry, that person's there. I see it mid to end of next year, mid-year 2021 more so, because you need to do some work on you.
Gotcha. Not so much a reading question, but I thought I would just say.
That's a good question, Josh. Is grounding yourself a good way to cleanse yourself? Yes. I think it's important that I want to see his face. You actually, so I tend to veer away from giving specific advice on stuff like this. And let me tell you why. Because what works for you may be different than from anybody else. And you are very intuitive. And if you are feeling like grounding yourself is also cleansing yourself, then it is. And it can be for sure. Like I have noticed in some instances that, yeah, grounding. And then I'm also feeling just like everything rushing through the earth and recycling back through, and sometimes I have to do something very specific to cleanse. It depends on the situation. Spirit tells me, just like for you, it seems like I feel like you're very connected to spirit. You're very connected to your higher consciousness. And you are capable of actually doing both. You actually are capable of recycling energy. And then running it through your hands. You have incredibly healing hands. And you actually can heal long distance also. And so they're saying for you, you actually do both. Because when you run energy and then you're running it through someone, you're cleansing and clearing and grounding and running. You're really powerful. You've seems like you're really connected to your super sense of healing. You're a healer. You probably have multiple senses, but that one for sure, your hands. So the short answer is yes.
Go
Have I
Josh.
ever given a short answer?
All I can say is go Josh. While we're on that topic, Jessica had another question.
I have no idea what Palo Santo is. So
Okay.
there's that. And I am going to be very authentic and honest, as I always talk about right now. If Jessica, it's so funny you asked this because, and let me tell you why. It's funny you asked this because I probably have Palo Santo in my house and I don't know it. When Spirit tells me and guides me to everything that I have in my home, as far as, this little guy, crystals, sage. I've got a couple of grasses that I don't know what they are, but I was told to get them and use them for a specific purpose. That doesn't mean that grass is used for someone else's specific purpose. But Spirit, I don't study a lot, like read a lot, and I'm not saying that you guys shouldn't. I don't, because I feel that Spirit will always tell you what, when, and how. And then to research it and learn about it, yes, is important. But like for you, Jessica, if you prefer that over sage, that's because you're listening to your higher consciousness. And that is the right thing for you, 100%. Everyone is going to have their own unique experiences. So the reason why I say not to read a lot about cleansing, and when I teach tarot card reading, I tell people not to read about the card, because Spirit is going to tell you what you need. And if you take all your information from a book that somebody said, this is what worked for me, you're not following Spirit. You're not following your higher consciousness. You are reading a book. But Jessica and the gentleman before, I already forgot, Joshua, you guys are following your higher consciousness and you're saying, this feels right for me. And you're totally right. 100% right. This is why I don't like to give out specific advice, because I want you all to empower yourselves to allow Spirit to speak directly to you and tell you what you need. Like, I have a billion crystals and I don't know what any of them are and what any of them mean. I've had people go, oh, you have a blah, 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 da, 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 and that's good for this and that. And I'm like, all I know is Spirit told me to get it when I was going through something back in the day. And here we are. And I'm told to pick it up and use it during certain times. I don't bother myself, I'm not saying it's good or bad, with its meaning and its name. I feel it. And Spirit tells me when to use it and when not to use it. And that's what Jessica and Joshua are doing. So bravo. Alexis. Okay. Pressure between your eyes. I'm assuming you've ruled out the obvious, right? Like sinus and stuff like that. Okay, so obviously that's your third eye. but you have so much repression in your family and in your roots, repression on repression. I feel like it's not just spiritual repression, but there's also like lineage of repression that you all have lived through. Like this goes back lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes. And so when you're trying to see, because you're a seer, when you're trying to see with your third eye, those lifetimes of repression are just weighing on it. And you're struggling to push through that lifetime of repression. And that's where that pressure is coming from. Get into your daily practice. If you already have it, email me. If you don't already have it, find a daily practice. That daily practice for you, I'm feeling like they're saying for you to visualize colors, to see colors, purple, pinks, blues out of this area. But this is coming from repression that you have experienced in many lifetimes, as well as in this lifetime. Get into your daily practice. That'll eventually that will start to move out. It'll probably manifest into sinus, cold, a lot of heavy stuff here, but eventually it'll start to move out. But energetically, you have to work the crap out of that. Tessa, hi Tessa. How much should I interact in a dysfunctional relationship where a coworker that I adore is being mistreated? It could cause a lot of drama for me. That's a good question. There was an alien there, wasn't too long. Didn't Tessa have the alien? Now I really want to see the alien. How much should I interact with in a dysfunctional relationship where a coworker that I adore is being mistreated? Okay. Oh, were you to pick a card? You were the one with the sword. The dysfunction is here. You're here. Don't be here. Just be here. Don't be involved. Listen to this person and speak to them as you would a child who is learning how to walk. The child is learning how to walk, and it may take this child a year to learn how to walk, or 10 years, or 6 months, or a day. But you're not going to beat the child up because they don't know how to walk yet. But be here, don't be here. So the dysfunction and the crazy is here. Don't be involved at all. They're saying don't be involved at all. But speak to her and support her as if she's a child learning how to walk. I hope that answers your question. If not, email me.
Nice. Lena had chimed back in.
Oh.
So, Lena, there's a email address that is at the bottom of the screen that's scrolling. And there it is right now, maryamlive at unexplainedcases.com. If you can send that picture to that address, then also
that
send
would be
your
a fun puppy read.
Yes, reach out to Maryam, and that could either be, maybe that's a pet segment for next week.
Peggy, oh, that's a cute little photo, Peggy. I know that's not you. The 3-year-old just typed all that. Peggy, why don't you email me so we can get more specific, so I can just answer one question, and I'll ask for pictures and stuff, okay?
Right. And let's see if we were actually wrapped up. I think Welcome Lost Souls Paranormal. I think the same situation. Cool profile image, but I'll take a stab that you're going to need a little bit more than that to help.
Unless that's you. Oh, then we're going to have big problems.
Hey.
Yeah, email me so I can get your name and your photo and a little bit more, we can get more specific so I can help you.
Right. And last question, back to Alexis.
Hi, Alexis. Email me. Or I'm on Insta, Maryam the Medium. Insta, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Maryam the Medium. Or the email scrolling at the bottom, and we'll chat.
Lots of ways to reach out for sure. So guys, my goodness, if I don't think I missed anybody, There may have been, I think, perhaps one or two. You'd actually already asked a question. So if that happened, then try to give everybody a chance. And again, we just try to have the one question. But if for some reason I did happen to skip your question, then by all means, please email it. So that way next week, we'll do that at the top of the show. But thanks, everybody, for showing up today. We appreciate all of you for being here, for your support, for sharing, for the questions. A whole bunch of new people also showed up again. So mwah, we love all of you, regulars and new. And then also tonight, be back.
Night.
Unexplained Cases Live. It will be a fantastic show. Look forward to seeing you. Bye.